This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive. Once again, I'm your host, Preston Moore. I mentioned earlier in the show, talking WT softball today. The Lady Buffs have been absolutely spectacular this season, undefeated at home, 33-3 total, and just recently, the sole possession of the #1 team in the country. Joining me now is the head coach of that team, Michael Mook. Coach Mook, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Well, I'm excited to talk a little bit of WT softball. You guys, like I just mentioned, have been nothing short of phenomenal this year, both on the at home and on the road, and everywhere you've played, you've looked absolutely spectacular. And just recently, obviously, taking that #1 spot, you were tied with North Georgia beforehand, tied in the votes for that #1 spot. Now you're the sole possession of the #1 spot in the country. I mean, I know that that's not something that players often, look at and want to focus on too much. But when you hear me say that, what does that mean for the team? What kind of an indicator is that, I suppose?
Yeah, it just means our kids have been working really hard. I'm happy for them. I think to be acknowledged for your hard work, I think that's always a great thing. Like you said, at the same time, they know that they've got some important games ahead of them and that they got to make sure that they come out and take care of business. So not spending a ton of time digging into that, but at the same time, it's a nice pat on the back for the hard work that they put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned important games coming up, but before we get to that, I do want to talk about your last series. You guys were at Western New Mexico and just had a spectacular series. You scored 17 runs in the first game, 17 runs in the second game, and then 9 in the third. Just incredible offense throughout that series. Do you feel like your team is clicking offensively right now, maybe at a different rate than they were earlier in the year?
Yeah, I think they just continue to get better as the season goes on, again, which is our goal. I think to put up that many runs is phenomenal, especially late in the season and stuff like that. And I thought our defense did a really good job. Again, it was a hitters-friendly park, but I thought our defense did a good job of keeping them from scoring a bunch of runs, too. I thought our pitchers threw well, all that stuff. So just a really good bunch of wins for us this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk a little bit about one of your players as well. I'm looking at the LSC hitting statistics right now, and Diana Murtha is leading the conference in almost every single statistic, and the only one that she's not leading in is hits, which Brittany Rufus is leading in. So when you talk about, when you hear that, I mean, what can you say about Diana's play and also Brittany Rufus's play? She's short behind, or right there behind Diana in most of these statistics.
Yeah, it's crazy just when you look at the conference statistics that we got, I think 3 of the top 4 players or so in there. Yeah, it just says a lot about the preparation that they put in. They put in a lot of time. That's the thing that people don't see behind the scenes is how much time they put in and how much energy they put in to get to where they want to get to. And again, it's not easy. Hitting's not an easy thing to do. You got to obviously have athletic ability, but then you also have to put in the time and the work and the preparation and all that kind of stuff. And that, to me, that's the fun part, to see the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't see that really goes into what's making them successful.
Yeah, I don't think people often realize just how much skill it takes to hit a softball or a baseball for that matter. And it's one of the things that in sports, I'm always marveled by it because I was never good at either sport. So I every time I go, I'm just amazed that anybody can make contact on a pitch. So it's always amazing to me. I want to talk about this upcoming series, though, that we talked about. Lubbock Christian coming into town at Schaefer Park. You guys are undefeated at Schaefer Park this year, 16-0, but it certainly will not be an easy task to make that 19-0 with these upcoming 3 games against Lubbock Christian. They right now sit in 5th in the standings of the conference. What do you see out of them, and what's it going to take from you guys to maintain that undefeated record?
Yeah, they're a very good softball team. They got a really athletic team. They're well coached. They're going to play good defense. They got pitching. They're a well-rounded team. They kind of got all areas of the game covered. So we're going to have to come out. We're going to have to make sure that we're ready to go also. I think defensively we got to make sure that we're on and playing good defense. It's going to be a little bit windy, so that's always makes everything a little bit of an adventure. But, we're somewhat used to it because that's where we live and we're used to the wind here. Offensively, I think we got to put up some runs. I think they're going to be a team that's going to put up some runs also. I think we got to answer back if they do put up some runs, and we got to make sure that pitching-wise that we throw really well against them. They got a lot of dangerous hitters that, if you're throwing pitches that are too good for them to hit, they're going to hit them right away. So we just got to come out and play our game and make sure we're ready to go.
I mentioned that undefeated record at home. You guys were undefeated for the majority of last season at home, finished with a record of 28-1. Is there a point in time, and you may know this from last year being undefeated for the majority of the season, is there a point in time where that undefeated record starts to sort of be in the back of your mind of like, oh, we still haven't lost a game at home yet, we got to keep this going? Does that play into it at all? Do you think it plays into your players' minds at all, or is that not a factor?
Kids love playing at home, to be in front of our fans, to be on our park, the field we're practicing on every single day, and they just love playing at home, and it's a special place to play. Just the atmosphere of the games, the fans that come out that support us, it makes it a really special place to play. So our team loves playing at home. We'll anytime we get a chance to play at home, we'll take that for sure. But we're excited to play at home and excited to get a chance to play LCU, who's a really good softball team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I know you guys like playing at home, but you've been almost possibly even better on the road this year. Statistically, you're averaging 7.75 runs per game at home. You're averaging 9 runs per game on the road. And then in runs allowed per game on the home and the road. At home, you're allowing 2.63 and on the road 1.73. So obviously, there's a little bit of success on the road as well. Is there anything that's energizing about going on the road for your team?
Yeah, I think when we're on the road, the nice thing is you get to be around your teammates, you get to spend a little bit more time, get to know them a little bit better, all that kind of stuff. So, I think we still would rather be at home than on the road. But, I think the numbers speak for themselves. I think it just says that we're capable of playing on different surfaces. A lot of times some of those road games are on dirt compared to our turf and stuff like that. So to be able to still put up good numbers in those situations, I think that just says a lot about the versatility of our team and their relentlessness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all season long, you guys, the way the season sort of operates for any of our viewers who may not know, you guys go from home series and then you have away series and you kind of alternate back and forth, but not now. These upcoming 2 series, you get 2 series in a row at home. That's an extended stay after this Lubbock Christian series. St. Edward's will come into town as well on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Is there a benefit? Obviously, there's a benefit, but what is the benefit of staying at home for that extended period of time, and kind of does it feel like a break in a sort of a way?
Yeah, definitely. I think just being able to sleep in your own bed, even treatment-wise and all that kind of stuff. We have more stuff in our athletic training, or our trainer does a great job with us even when we're on the road. But just having all the facilities that we have, even just for practices and stuff like that, having our own facility that we can use to do whatever we need to do. It's nice to be at home. But more than anything, it's probably just a chance to kind of relax and recharge a little bit, because sometimes those road games, when you're on the bus, you don't sleep quite as well as you would when you're in your own bed. And some of the road trips are pretty long. So it's definitely nice to be at home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, one last question for you. You guys only have 5 series to go remaining in the season, 15 games, kind of in the home stretch now of the season before the Lone Star Conference championships come. And you want to be peaking at the right time, right? All coaches talk about this regardless of the sport. They want to peak at the right time. They want to be playing their best softball, in your case, at the end of the season leading into that postseason. You mentioned in the press conference that you feel like you are peaking at the right time. Why is that?
I think it's just the constant preparation. I think if you do the right stuff and you just do it for a long time, you just kind of keep getting better and getting better and getting better. And that's kind of what I see right now. Again, we still have a long ways to go, and we still want to make sure that we're continuing to get better. But a lot of it's just their preparation, their consistency with it. Sometimes I've seen teams before, when they start doing well, they kind of let up a little bit and take it easy and don't work quite as hard as they do when they're maybe struggling a little bit more. But this team, they're very just consistent. It doesn't matter if we're doing well, if we're struggling, whatever. You watch them show up at practice every day, they're going to give the same effort, and that's really what we're looking for. So that's, I really think, a big part of us being consistent and continuing to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach Mook, once again, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you making the time. We're excited about the rest of the season. You guys are having a phenomenal season. Once again, congratulations on the season you've had so far, and hopefully continuing that success this weekend against Lubbock Christian.